Good evening. I am JustVine. This week we are going to try something I've been working on for quite a while. I'm going to give an Anchorwoman-style summary of last week's Street Fighter, Guilty Gear, and Injustice 2 news that I feel are a must-know, while my friends at 2MK give you a sneak peek at our Zangief prototype, which we will be releasing later in the week at 2-mk.org as usual. The intention of this segment is to give you a simple video that will later be archived in YouTube with source links to almost everything I talk about, so that way you do not have to sift through all the noise and superficial content Twitter and event hubs manage to generate, which tends to bury important information. I already do something similar on my Twitter, at JustVine News, where I give up-to-date news about everything going on during the week, but wanted something that could be a little longer lasting than just Twitter content. After all, both event hubs and Twitter start getting hard to dig through past the front page, which can rotate pretty quickly, or the first page of tweets. So it's intended as a snapshot of the week, concentrating all the information in one area with easy to access sources for anyone to use, and most importantly, to keep you, my viewers, informed of anything you may have missed during the week. Now, let's get into Monday, May 1st. To kick off the week with a strong start, Capcom announced the dates of its second round of beta testing, May 11th through May 14th, the tail end of this week. Both PC and PS4 users can join in the server testing, unlike last beta. Users will have access to the Season 2.1 patch experience, as well as access to both Ed and previous DLC characters from both seasons. It is sure to be an experimental time for everyone. Capcom isn't the only company with an experimental announcement last week, as Arc System Works answers Capcom's call with Guilty Gear Rev 2 demo release, which is still available for download and tinkering on the PlayStation Network shop for all PS Plus members on PS4. On Tuesday, May 2nd, the reigning champ of Street Fighter V, Liquid Knuckle Doo, finally revealed a little information about his Capcom prize of his very own custom-designed character costume. It seems that Guile, not Armika, will be getting new duds. It is a welcome news for all who play the American hero, who have stood by watching characters get new costumes left and right with nothing in the goodie bag for them. Hopefully we will be hearing more about this news soon. While the Emperor talks about his new clothes, the King of the Hill, Chris G, was dethroned in this week's ESL battle by Brian F in a true display of Balrog dominance. It was quite an interesting fight, one worth the highlight reels for, which I will put in the links below in the YouTube archive. On Wednesday, May 3rd, in other King of the Hill news, ESL announced they would do a day of release event for Injustice 2, part of the Injustice 2 circuit. Meanwhile, the same sponsors who finally picked up Marn, Rise Nation, picked up another long-deserved independent pro, Menard. The Birdie player finally joins the ranks of sponsored pros and will hopefully be at many more events given this year's changes to the Capcom Pro Tour, favoring those who travel. Thursday, May 4th was a slow news day. However, Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite team released news that they will not have a fight money system for DLC or any cross-platform play, much like its predecessor. It may not come as a shock to those keeping track of Capcom's finances and the effect of such a system on Street Fighter's own financial viability. Friday, May 5th, Injustice 2 revealed who would be in their first DLC. Starfire rejoins the roster along with Sub-Zero and Red Hood. All very interesting choices. Previous Starfire mains will surely welcome the fiery Tamaranian's return. Wolfkrone and Fudo overtook Group C this Friday in the E-League final preliminaries. They will both be advancing to the E-League finals. Down in the links below in the archived version, we will have a link to the E-League brackets and more information. Capcom released an official image alluding to everyone that Ed would indeed be the next DLC character in the Street Fighter roster. This comes as no surprise to anyone, as last week's leak from the PlayStation Store Season Pass page clearly hinted at the Psycho Power Wielder's inclusion. But on Saturday, May 6th, Capcom had been having trouble with leaks all around regarding Ed, and despite the beta and its grand reveal still being a few days out at the time of this broadcast, Ed was all but fully confirmed. Unfortunately for Capcom, as much as they tried keeping this character a secret, they made an honest mistake of having Ed's page preloaded on Capcom Unity before its release, leaking his character model. The model struck controversy due to it being completely different from their original story mode, giving Ed a more mature and, quite frankly, bison-like appearance, adding to the evidence that Season 2 of Street Fighter V is at least a year or so after A Shadow Falls. To learn more about the leak, check out Vesper Arcade's series of videos in the link below. Sunday, May 7th concluded Texas Showdown 17 and also a few Red Bull events. Pinoy, the unconventional dictator player, took the Red Bull Proving Ground qualifiers, securing himself a nice chunk of change and a spot for later events. Meanwhile, Bonchan takes the Coliseum events in Italy, followed by Big Bird and Oil King, putting the three on the board for the Capcom Pro Tour. None of these players are exactly newcomers, but it was great to see some fresh faces in the European event where Luffy, Mr. Crimson, and Problem X have dominated for so long. Back in Texas, we have Kizzy K defeating Kid Viper in a very odd SoCal Grand Finals of Guilty Gear Xrd. The Rev 2 demo was used to play this particular tournament, so it was interesting to see how well these players have already adjusted to the new version of the game, though it definitely affected the play. And finally, in a grand finals full of muscle spirit and upset, Smug wins his first ever Capcom ranking event since 2014 with an amazing set against Snake Eyes. The grand finals was full of everything hype about esports, and we will surely leave the link below in the YouTube archive description for your viewing pleasure, as it's one you don't want to miss. So finally, a section for this week of interesting links and what to look forward to. Vianality will be in a palace. Interesting where esports has gotten to these days. Hopefully we'll bring a little class along with it. For those of you getting knee-deep in Revelator 2 demo, James Chen and Choi Sauce remind you of a useful resource they created to help get you started in your Guilty Gear adventure while tinkering on the Rev 2 demo. It has a ton of in-depth stuff on how the game works, game mechanics, how to play, strategies, to give you an edge on your Rev 2 training. Additionally, this week, James Chen announced that he, along with Justin Wong and NuckleDo, will be participating in a fun event in New York on May 13th. Check the details below if you're in the area and want to take a shot at the pro players and enjoy some lighthearted FGC fun. And of course, the biggest things to look forward to next week are the beta, which we will hopefully all be playing on Thursday and get our hands on Ed, and of course Group D's finishing off E-League preliminaries, which should fill up the roster to full for the grand finale that will be coming in the later weeks. It is full of the American pros who have been taking and ranking in so many high-profile tournaments lately, so it's one you don't want to miss. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to get all the latest news, check out my Twitter @JustVineNews. And if you want to learn more about ZoneGiftBot, he will be released sometime this week. So don't forget to check him out along with our other bots at 2-mk.org/bots. As always, I'm feeling just fine, and I hope you will be too. I will keep my ear to the grapevine for you and see you next week. Next on our stream, we will be cutting out and transitioning to a discussion about the Ed Reveal. I hope you have a good evening. Thank you for listening, and see you next week.